Hello and welcome to episode 13 of RaiderIO's Weekly No Leaver. I'm your host, Sean, and today I'm joined by Hamish. Thanks for being here.
No, thanks for having me. I'm excited about this.
Awesome. So, Hamish, you are the community director for Fellowship. Is that correct?
That's correct, though it implies that I'm directing someone. It's more that I'm directing something because we're such a small team that it's just me.
Okay.
So it was just, previously a title that I had, and then when I started at Chief Rebel, that kind of just stuck. But when you're in a small team, you do a bit of everything, right? So I don't know that it's the best description. We're just kind of out here making a game that we love, and however we get there, we get there.
I love it. I'm going to ask now, what does a community director do?
Yeah, that's what I mean. So for me, it's probably a little bit different from other people. I've had like a slew of random jobs over the years and like have like a very like wide certain set of skills, like very Liam Neeson. But it's like I said, we're a team of just people who want to make this game. So we've got a CEO who's our game director. We've got a COO who's programming all our UI and everyone's getting their hands dirty. But for me, it's I kind of explain my job like I have two clients. I have the devs and I have the community, and I advocate for both. So that's kind of the simple explanation. It sometimes becomes a bit of a marriage counselor role, that kind of thing. But mostly it's about just being open and honest and kind with both parties and enjoying what is an absolute privilege, and that's spreading the joy of games in general.
I love that.
Like, I think sometimes it's easy to take it too seriously, and it's just fun.
Yeah, I love
I'm
that.
having a good time.
I'm glad you're having a good time. I'm having a good time watching you do it. The takeaway from this, folks, if you're listening, is be nice to Hamish because he's the one giving your messages to the devs. So we want those messages to go well good.
Or I also have the power to ban people. So like,
I'd be extra nice to Hamish. I love it. Okay, so for those of you who are familiar with the show, what we do here on Weekly No Leaver is we run a dungeon, or in this case, dungeons, and we have a little chat. So we are all queued up. We have 4 people in our party. We're going to run some quick play dungeons here in Fellowship. I'm very excited. While I queue us up, my first question I have for you, Hamish, is if you could just tell us a little bit about Chief Rebel. Can you walk us through like what the founding of that company was and its growth up to today?
Yeah, so Chief Rebel was created, I guess now about 6 years ago. A small kind of spin-off group, a lot of people from developers in Stockholm, Sweden. So people from Avalanche, Arrowhead, a few other places, some people from Ubisoft and that sort of thing. So I joined about 2.5 years ago, and Fellowship was, it was well into development, but it was also, sorry, it's playing silly. It was also one of those things where it's we actually all of the main parts of developing a game happen like right at the end, right? So early development of Fellowship looks very different to what it is today. We originally started out and the game was actually a PvE MOBA. So very different for what we have now. We liked the idea, but something about it kind of didn't feel right until we essentially changed the camera from top down to something that was a bit more traditional kind of MMO style character, camera, and controls. That's like, in the industry would say like 3 Cs is the kind of shorthand for that.
Oh, I learned that. I learned that. That's great. I like learning things. Yeah. Cool. The 3 Cs. So you mentioned the team is mostly in Stockholm. You are not, though. You are remote, correct?
I am. So we're a bit of a global effort these days. I moved back to New Zealand for just family stuff. I'd been living in Sweden for 11 years, mostly working at Ubisoft, most of my time at Massive down in Malmö on games like The Division, which was an awesome time. And actually, that's kind of how I ended up finding my way to Chief Rebel, one of my early collaborators at Massive. Well, when did I start? 2013. He was one of the kind of early Chief Rebel members, and we met up for lunch one day in Stockholm, and I was like, oh, what's this thing that you're working on? And I started to hear about this thing that was like, I think the pitch I got was, oh, it's the best elements of, our favorite bits of MMOs, MOBAs, and ARPGs, and do you want to come and have a look at it and see if it's something you're into? And I was like, yeah, those are my favorite types of games. So I didn't need much convincing. And yeah, the rest is kind of history. I've been on the project for, I guess, early next year it'll be 3 years.
Oh wow, what has that been like for you, watching it go from its previous iteration to what it is now, and then actually launching?
It's been huge. I mean, it was so cool because like the first time I went into the office, I remember actually the first time I went in, I didn't actually realize it was for an interview. Kind of.
Okay.
I went in, I was like, oh, I'm just gonna go and talk to some people and chat about games. It wasn't something we were really taking seriously. And then we just talked about like, community philosophies, what we kind of appreciate around the industry, and those sorts of things. And then I remember I got a call from Johan like a few days later, and they were like, oh, would you want to join the team? And I was like, actually, yeah, definitely. It didn't, like I said, it didn't take much convincing once I knew what kind of game Fellowship was going to be. So yeah, it was a very, very easy decision.
I love that. Are you guys, is the team growing? So you're launched now, you're in early access. Is the team growing, and are you hiring any experienced podcasters? Asking for a friend.
Actually, we haven't even had time to really think about that. Like sorry, my keybinds are all weird. Yeah, we haven't had time to really think about that. It's one of the things I think we definitely want to do is stay small and lean and agile. I think I've spent a lot of time working at big developers, and that was one of the things that made the decision really easy for me to kind of switch over, is that like, I don't know, there's something really, it's just really fun working. It reminds me of my time working in indie stuff. I don't know, I feel like a kid again, working with a small team. It's really, really, really nice. Oh my God, sorry, I was not looking at you.
That's okay. Your job is not to keep me at 100% health. It's just to keep me above 0. And so far,
max efficiency. But yeah, it was very, very easy, like I said, to join the team.
Okay. Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. I just got a request from chat for you to show gameplay, if you can, on your stream.
Oh yes, I'm so sorry. There we go.
I love it.
Oh, hang on.
I love it. We got you, chat. We got you sorted out. Don't you worry. He's just going to keep me alive.
I was actually just trying to hide my terrible gameplay from people the whole time.
No, I don't believe it. I don't believe it for a second.
We're learning Sylvie on the fly.
I want to talk about that for a second. So, just dungeons. We're just dungeons. That's a big risk. Like, what inspired the team to strip away the typical trappings of an MMO?
Can I ask you why you think it's a big risk?
First? In this space, I feel like games, I'm going to answer this question for you. I think games try to target as wide an audience as possible. And maybe they try to draw as many people in with many different offerings. But it seems like Fellowship has said, we want to just focus on this thing.
Yeah.
I'm answering the question.
No, it's true. No. So I think it's kind of interesting. I think sometimes it can be a problem when you try and put everything in a game, right? Like, it's hard to say, but I feel like there is a real opportunity with a game like this, especially. I kind of talk about it feels to me right now very similar to a certain thing that happened in 2012 in the industry, when Riot and Valve came forth with a really clean offering with Dota and League. It was a really great execution of something very, very simple. A loop that players could, wrap their heads around. And I feel like sometimes maybe doing everything is not the answer. But time will tell if I'm correct with that, but I think we want to stay very clean and simple with our premise and just, say to people like, this is what you can expect from our game. If that's what you like, then you'll probably find a very quick path to enjoying it. Um, that being said, it is early days. So we also, I always say that we want to make this game with and for our community. So based on feedback, things will definitely change. So we'll have to see what that looks like over time. But yeah, it's a very, very interesting time, and we won't know exactly what that truth will look like, I think, for a while. But signs are looking pretty positive, I would say.
Yeah, the future is definitely bright. Let's talk about the game itself. So we've been sort of dancing around it. Anybody who's not sure, Fellowship labels itself as the first ever MODA, multiplayer online dungeon adventure. Can you break down the core gameplay loop for us?
Yes, the core gameplay loop, like I said, is very simple. You jump in, you do a dungeon, you get stuff, you take that stuff to be able to do more dungeons. That's the initial premise. We want people to be able to experience that gameplay loop. That's it's been locked behind in other experiences hundreds of hours of gameplay, and we love that kind of gameplay. So if we can offer that to people straight off the bat, then that feels like we'll be doing what we're setting out to do.
I like that. It's no grind, just dungeons. It's
Yeah. So that was one of the things in the trailer. Like, obviously, because you don't want to be too verbose in a trailer. Like, yes, you kind of do like grind your way through difficulties and that sort of thing. But I think that the kind of angle that we were going for that is like the traditional MMO grind, like kill 5 pigs, that kind of thing is not in our game. But that's really hard to put forward in a like a title card on a trailer. Like, you don't have to kill 5 pigs, you can just do dungeons. Doesn't really read as well.
Yeah, it doesn't
not as much impact.
doesn't have the same ring to it. Listen, I am here for all the catchphrases. I love them. I think they're great. So send more. These boars all have livers. Grind significantly reduced. Doesn't play as well. Yeah, I love it. All right, so right now we're in quick play, so we're doing some quick play dungeons, but there are other game modes. We have challenge mode as well, which is sort of like a ranked dungeoning. Can you walk us through the different styles between quick play and challenge mode, and then maybe talk about how that difficulty increases?
Yeah, so it's really good that we're doing quick play right now because, like I said, I'm playing Sylvia, who I've almost got zero experience on. Like, my understanding of her is very rudimentary. I've, in other games, traditionally not played a healer like her before, so I can't even carry over any of my other knowledge of things. It's just not going to help. So quick play is our most accessible and welcoming mode that we have. What will happen is your gear is normalized around a certain difficulty. And what that practically means for people is that if you've played 0 hours, you're going to have the same stats as someone who's played hundreds of hours. They will, have unlocked more skills and talents and that sort of thing. But if you're hitting using the same skill, it will do the same damage. So you can just kind of chill and play quick play. You'll get account-wide currency. You'll unlock your own talents and abilities, and see if that's a hero you want to maybe take into challenge a little bit later on, which is nice because you can kind of. That's one of the things that we really want to do with the game is give people a lot more flexibility with being able to jump between different heroes, and that's something that I appreciate from the MOBA space a lot. It's a nice level of flexibility that I don't think is often accessible in that kind of traditional dungeon running experience.
Can you talk a little bit, because when you mentioned the difficulty increases, so the enemies just get more health and they do more damage? Is that it? There's no.
So once you get into the challenge system, we have some different ways of increasing up that difficulty. Obviously, there are damage and health increases and those sorts of things. But once you get through the first league, we'll start throwing more enemy abilities at you, more boss abilities. we'll start introducing curses, which will, change the way that certain dungeons operate and that sort of thing. Right now, there's, I mean, we're only it's been just, I think this morning was a week since we, since we actually got this in the hands of players. And yeah, we've already seen that there's some balancing stuff that we want to do. And, but yeah, it's good to have that kind of mass amount of players to see what the best kind of experience is. So we've seen already that in our second league, that as we start introducing these here enemy abilities to players, there's actually a big spike in difficulty that people are getting kind of smacked down by. And we're talking on our side, are there ways to make that a little bit more of a smooth on ramp, because they're getting hit by a lot of stuff at once. So we'll see. We're here to kind of make a lot of changes on the fly and figure out what feels best. But we'll introduce more. So as you kind of go through the league system, you will get more and more of those things. So there's more curses. Oh, here we go. We're not going to soak?
Oh,
all right.
We have a really, if you have a good
It's quick
healer,
play.
you can ignore that.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, so because we don't have an open world, we have to kind of be smart about how we are presenting those new challenges to people. And we still have work to go on that. So if you have any suggestions, throw them at me. It's been really cool listening to all of the suggestions that people have. So yeah, I think we've already done a good job of implementing a lot of stuff really quickly. Like I said, in the past 7 days, we've been doing a lot, and we'll be definitely adding a lot more going forward.
I love that. I love the layering system that you use, not only in the difficulty for the dungeons, where you can run them quick plays, and then you can run, and we're doing a boss right now, and it's so immediately apparent what to do on this boss. We'll talk about the encounter design later. But I like how you layer on the difficulty of, okay, we're going quick play, no timer, quick play first, and then once you go from quick play to contender, no timer for contender 1 to 3, and then contender 4, the timer kicks in, and then as you move up, you start to add those mechanics, different mechanics to the dungeon, and the players learn the dungeon as they go up. But it's not just in the dungeon design where that happens; that's with the characters as well. So you don't start the game with your full suite of all of your abilities and talents. You unlock them as you're playing the dungeon, and it really helps you to learn the class as you're playing it, so that you're playing it correctly. Was that the design intent in having everything layer that way?
Definitely. I think our kind of ideal, for new player experience, there's obviously people who are very familiar with, we have gamers among us, right? Who will just jump into the challenge stuff straight away, and they will get into all of their skills and talents through that. That's totally fine. But for people who are coming to our game for the first time, coming to a game like this at all for the first time, I think the ideal player journey is jumping into quick play, unlocking the left side of your rewards tree. So I'm showing that on my stream right now. That's going to unlock all of your skills and talents. I mean, most of your talents. I think, we end up having 13, and there's a couple on the right side. But for all intents and purposes, you'll get kind of your whole toolkit that way. You'll even get some gear. And then once you feel comfortable on that hero, you'll be able to spend the supplies you've gotten, those account-wide currencies that I talked before, and get some starting gear, and then jump into the challenge mode with a great amount of base level of power. And so you continue to have a welcoming experience once you get into that side of the thing. Like I said, now I think we've got it right with that quick play to contender kind of flow. That big jump up to our second league, maybe we want to kind of soften that. I mean, look, I play a lot of Dark Souls. I love getting absolutely destroyed. But I think, we've got some work to do there.
You've just gained a fan, and my brother is a massive fan of Dark Souls. He would call it
it's so good.
Demon's Souls. He's one of those pretentious people, but yeah, he loves that whole franchise. So I dig it. It's really elegant, and Another thing that I found really interesting in the gameplay and the design was that you learn what to do. You're in these dungeons, you're learning what to do by looking at the mechanics. There's no dungeon journal, there's no, 350-page manual to read through. You learn by doing. And that is another thing that I think is one of the strengths, but it really lends to like the accessibility of the game. It's very easy to pick it up and play because things are so visually apparent right away what to do. How did your game designer settle on the fact that they wanted to make sure that every mechanic was going to be able to be solved just by looking at it?
I mean, that's one of the things that we definitely focus on. One of our like internal mantras is like gameplay first. So, we want things to be telegraphed really well. And I mean, I guess that's also something that I appreciate from games like Dark Souls. You want to be able to know why stuff isn't working when it isn't working. I think one of the frustrating things in games is when you die and you're like, well, I don't know what happened. So like readability and that sort of thing is very, very important to us. People often ask like, oh, why did you land on 4 heroes? I mean, the kind of short answer is that it just kind of felt right for our game. But I do think one of the secondary benefits of 4 players is that because you have a little bit less, the amount of visual clutter that you have on screen is a lot, faster for the brain to kind of process, which I quite like. That's just one of the personal things that I think is a nice little benefit.
I do like that. I do like that. So you mentioned 4 heroes. Let's touch on that. Why heroes? Why hero classes and not character made player made characters?
I mean, I think in the gaming space, firstly, it's nice to do something different. I think we want to be a bit disruptive. So that was, one of the reasons we thought it would work. And also because like I said, we started out life as a PvE MOBA, and that kind of design intent always was there from the start. So that would have been a huge pivot for us and something we never really considered for our game. The other benefit is that we have designers who are extremely ambitious and excited about what the heroes model gives us. We can be, I would say, a lot more adventurous mechanically with our hero designs because we aren't necessarily beholden to those things being universal. Even like I said, people being able to switch between different things. Our meta might shift around between seasons and that sort of thing. So if there are some off the wall hero ideas and then they're super powerful in one season and then maybe not in the next, it's not going to be as problematic, I would say. Because if you've sunk hundreds and hundreds of hours into a character and then the next season you kind of suck, it's horrible, right? We don't want that. So I think, yeah, it's very exciting for our designers to look at what that could potentially mean for us going forward. Because right now in our game, our hero roster is a mix of things that are very familiar and welcoming because we want people to jump into our game and understand what's going on. I think Helena and Mako, our tanks, are a good example of that. You have Helena, who's, that very understandable fantasy from any kind of RPG that you've ever played. Sword and board, you kind of read what's going on very quickly. I don't think Mako has that same kind of feeling. She's combo based, combos and finishes. She's a fighter. Actually, she started out life as a DPS hero, but that's another whole story.
Really?
Yeah. And so like I said, we're gameplay first. She, just felt better as a tank. And that's something that we want to do with our game is offer heroes that on one side have a lot of... What? I'm going to soak? No. Come on, team.
They are hating you right now. They're like, listen, he's got the soak. It's fine.
Yeah, so we want to offer that duality of something that's familiar, but also something adventurous and mechanically a bit fresh. And especially as we go forward, I think people can expect some, pretty creative stuff on the hero design side.
I like that. I want to ask how often we're going to get new heroes, but before I ask that, so just keep that in your hat for now. Other games that are hero based they have like beautiful, wonderful short movies, clips that come out about the heroes, or in some cases, entire Netflix series that go off the rails in season 2. Is there any hope? I
don't know what you're talking about.
I can't listen. That guy was time jumping. He was in different universes. I lost the plot completely. Anyway, what's important?
Sure.
Are we gonna get? Is there any future where we get Fellowship shorts, or a potential?
I mean, that'd
web
be
series?
great, right? That would be huge. I mean, we're such a small team that we need to be very smart with our bandwidth. Any kind of resources that we are lucky enough to get, that needs to go straight into making the game better. When you're this small, you have to be like, well, that would be nice, but we have to make the game. Riot don't have that problem. When you've been as successful as they have, you can expand out and do all those really, really cool things. It's kind of too early to say. That would be awesome. We would absolutely love that. That would be the dream. But yeah, for now, it's our resources will absolutely go towards core game features. That's definitely the plan.
That's the reasonable answer. That's the adult answer. I appreciate that. Netflix, if you're watching, though,
got to be responsible.
Somebody has to be. It's certainly not going to be me. Okay, now I'm going to ask the big question. What does the team have any plans on how often we can expect to see new heroes?
So, like I said, it's a resource question, right? We absolutely want to be as fast as we can within reason, because we also need to make sure that anything we release is just really great quality. We're kind of talking right now about what do our seasonal structures look like, what does our content cadence look like, but because we've been working on this game for a while, we're only getting better and better at creating content at the quality we want quickly. So I think actually the single boss dungeons that have become like a core of our game experience are a really good example, because even like 18 months ago, we hadn't even tried a single boss dungeon. We weren't making them. We just thought, we had all these developer assumptions that 3 boss dungeons or more was absolutely the way to go. And then I remember someone pitched, what if we take some of our, environment art that we had, and we tried doing some smaller experiences, and we started testing them and getting them to like some players, and they were like, this is sick. And it should have been something that we'd thought about a long time ago. We've always said that, Fellowship, we want to be a game that respects people's time, and we want people to be able to jump in and just run a dungeon. So of course it makes sense that we would have single boss dungeons, and now they've just become this real core part of the experience. And of course those in terms of development time is something that is faster to create than a 3 boss dungeon. So we're getting faster at making stuff. So I would say dungeons, we quite prolific at being able to create. And I think, we're getting closer to some new hero designs that people will be able to see very soon. I can't really say because I don't know what our cadence will be.
What if I promise not to tell anyone?
Okay, if you promise not to tell anyone, I would like, so again, huge disclaimer. My ideal situation would be like a new hero every 3 months, but that's zero commitment on that because we're such early days. That would be ideal. 3 to 4 months. We don't know what that seasonal cadence will be. I would love for us to have a new hero every season, but that's just my marketing, and player brain talking. I think that would be super fun.
I like that. I can't imagine this game without the single boss dungeons. I've been playing MMOs for as long as I can remember, like back to EverQuest. And
wait, are you old as well?
Yeah, I'm 44. I'm so old I forget my age. I'm 44.
I'll be 40 next year. So I think a lot of our stuff overlaps.
Yeah, it
I talk
definitely.
about like Ultima and these sorts of
Yes,
things
I
as
played a little bit of Ultima Online as well. That was not as good. EverQuest is when I really get the hook sunk in.
hmm
I remember Unrest Manor was like an overworld dungeon. Anyway, that's not. This isn't an
yeah.
EverQuest show. I can't. What I'm trying to say is,
Not yet.
not yet. We're pivoting. I can't imagine this game without the single boss dungeons.
Me
Nothing
too.
scratches that itch more than a 10 to 15-minute run, log on at the end of the day, jump in with some friends, hit quick play and go. But I'm going to be the chat will be the end of me if I don't ask you, is there
Mm.
any plan to expand to more than dungeons and potentially raids?
Yeah, we've talked about this very openly. It's something that has absolutely been on our list for a long time. We don't currently have like one that we're secretly working on and planning to release in like uh 3 months or whatever. Because when we do, we probably won't do that in secret. We want to be very, very open about what we're working on, why we're working on it. If things change, we want to be able to say why. Uh, but yeah, expanded group content, if we call that raids or we call it something else, we'll have to see. But yeah, it'll come for sure. It's a logical step for us. One of the we kind of talk about what are some of the things that would mean. We don't want players to have to do that to be able to be effective at other parts of the game.
That there we go.
That's absolutely something we would be aiming to avoid. And again, I talk about my ideal scenario on the community side, and not necessarily a developer decision, but I would think a cool future for something like raids to be similar in its loot pool, but having kind of just achievement related things that you want to do. If there's super rare mounts or cosmetics or those sorts of things, for being able to do it, that would be my ideal approach, I would say.
I love the way that sounds. As soon as you said that was going to be my next question, because other games in the space, it's sort of like a pain point that you have to play content you don't necessarily enjoy in order to be optimal in the content you do enjoy.
Yeah,
And to hear that is something that you would be aware of and would try to avoid, that warms my heart.
for sure.
I love that. I love to hear that. So we're going to see new heroes. It's an inevitability, and Fellowship is built on the Holy Trinity. Is there any
Yes.
plans to break the Holy Trinity and include support specs?
I mean, anything is possible. One of the main requests that we get is like a bard character. I mean, I would love that. I love any kind of hero that would have some kind of musical stuff. It would be something that I think about it all the time. So it's anything is possible. Like I said, we want to do things that are very adventurous mechanically. So over time, it would absolutely be on the possibilities table.
Okay,
But yeah, we'll have to see.
I like that. It's a
And it
possibility.
might be one of those things that's also one of the things. Like if we try something and it doesn't work, we'll delete it.
I like that.
Like that's totally fine as well.
You're out of here. You keep mentioning how the game's being developed with the fans, with the players. How does
Yeah.
that process look? What does that mean? Like how involved, like how close are you really listening to the fan wants?
I mean, super close. We I mean, I kind of put Max on blast yesterday, and I feel a little bit bad about it. I don't know if you saw
Did see
the
that.
tweet. So Max did famously scrap his really like bis gloves that he found on stream, which was fun for viewers, probably not so fun for him because the scrapper UI looks very similar to the blacksmith. So I think he thought he was upgrading them, but they got nuked. So within 12 hours of kind of making the decision, we have a patch up that makes the scrapper, everything's bright red. Like you can't miss it. So that's one of the things that I really like about being on a small team. Like I said, we want to be fast. We also I set up a thing quite early on called the Community Council, where we, you know, we created a space where we could really openly share very early stuff that we're working on with a core group of people that are under NDA. So we can be that open, and they can try out stuff. They can test early heroes. They can give us feedback on talents that we're working on. And that's had a huge impact actually on a lot of our choices or choices not to make. And it's just nice to have a bit of a sanity check from people who really love the game, just having that extra brain power, just to make sure that, you know, your design decisions are being received in the way that maybe you anticipate or don't. So that's a huge part of it. We're on Discord every day. We're constantly we're obsessed with our players. So it's yeah, you'll see devs in everyone's streams, and just yeah, it's easy when you are obsessed with the game that you're making to kind of pay attention.
I love that. Can we please have a mini map for the love of God?
So yeah, we did actually have one. This is the thing. I think the current thing with the mini map is we had a mini map for a very long time. We had it for too long, in fact, that I think it was actually something that was one of the first features that we made in the game.
Okay.
And it was so rudimentary. It even might have been as old as the PvE MOBA like core of our game.
Oh,
and
wow.
So I think the designer for it was like, let me have another go at that. So I'm sure it'll come back.
Okay. Because I got lost 3 times. We've been in this dungeon for 2.5 minutes. I've gotten lost 3 times.
Yeah, it's just one of those things that, you know, we it's just work in progress.
All right, I'll take it.
I think it'll come back.
I'll take it. Let's talk about the queuing system for a second, because Fellowship has, so you can get it a party of 4, and you can select your dungeons and queue, and it's, you know, away you go. But they have a very robust queuing system. Can you walk me through how the solo experience works?
Yeah, so that's one of the reasons that quick play kind of came into the game as well. I mean, it's quick because we want it to be quick. And the reason the kind of difficulty is normalized is so that there's one matchmaking pool for quick play. When you take difficulty out of the equation, you just remove so many variables, which is, you know, we want people to get into dungeons fast to be able to have fun. So that's one side of it. Then once you get into the leagues, I think that's one of the things that you know, we get a lot of feedback on, you know, why can't I free choose individual granular difficulties? So in the earlier tests, if people are becoming a little bit familiar with our league system, you'll know that we have like 7 different kind of brackets per league across 4 leagues, so 28 different essential difficulty levels. But each league is its own matchmaking pool, and we smartly match people of similar eye level together as best as we can. And again, all of this is work in progress, and we probably need to tweak quite a few dials on these things. But the reason we do the kind of league-wide matchmaking is so we aren't breaking people into 28 different matchmaking buckets, because you can imagine that's what, 700% more granularity. That's, you know, the matchmaker has to work that much harder and that much longer to find you a group. And we want people to get into dungeons fast. So that's kind of the whole ethos behind the league system. And also so people have like a visual and understandable way to progress through the game's content.
I do like that. One of the, I won't say pain points. One of
you can say pain point.
One of the
That's
pain
fine.
points some people have mentioned is in that solo player experience, it's difficult. Well, it's impossible at this point to like specifically target a dungeon you're looking for. Is that a limitation of the system itself, or is that a design choice to not have that selection?
It's a bit of both. Oh, sorry, gotta make sure I run that through the boss. Yeah, I love this boss.
This is a great boss. Can we save this guy at the end?
Yeah, he lives. Someone was asking, "Oh, will I be able to ride that stag? That would be a cool mount."
That would
Maybe.
be a cool mount. He's our
In the
friend,
future,
though. He's for friending, not for riding.
That's true. That's true. Just friend. It could be like a pet, a giant pet.
Yeah. Why friend shaped? But yeah, why can't we, I guess, why can't we target specific dungeons is my question.
So that's the reason why specifically that if we add that granularity back in, it's going to explode queue times. There actually is a toggle in the game. I don't know if you've seen it right now in the challenge mode group finder. If you, oh, I actually haven't unlocked certain things.
Oh, I can't access it
Like I
because
said,
we're
I'm
in a group, but there is, I
Oh
have
yeah,
seen
yeah.
it.
But there's a toggle where you can matchmake with people who are like have achieved the same difficulty level as you, and there's a big warning on it saying this will increase your queue times. So we're talking about ways that people can opt into if they really want to increase their queue times, they'll be able to do that. One of the suggestions we've had from the community recently is about having league-wide queues, but then for the capstone dungeons, maybe adding a specific queue for that. So there's all these really good suggestions coming in from the community. So yeah, we're listening, and things will change over time, I'm sure. But this is just kind of our starting point.
I like that. Do you want to have just a little chat and maybe put the dungeons aside for now? Just a few more minutes to
We can
talk.
do that, yeah.
If you have time. Perfect. Thank you. I'm going to say thank you to the folks that are in here with us so that they know that they can continue to queue on their own if they want. Thanks, gang. And all right, let's just have a little chat here. Let's because I do have some more questions I am curious about, and I'm going to start with the UI. So we were just playing the game. This UI, the HUD is extremely customizable, and the UI, I described it as it gives you everything you need right out of the box. One of my favorite features is the focus for interrupts, where you can focus the interrupt and it puts your icon next to the nameplate, and then it also shows your countdown, so your whole party knows. There's no questioning, and it's a little frustrating to not see everybody using this, but they'll learn, they'll get there. But it tells everybody who's going to kick what. How important, I just find it makes the game so accessible, and the customizability of the UI. How important was accessibility as a whole for the team in designing this game?
Yeah, so that's a huge thing for us. We want things to be, like I touched on it a little bit earlier, we want things to be super readable, super understandable, especially for new players, while also being robust enough for veterans of the space to have everything that they need. And like I said, all of this is a work in progress. So like we have the way that people can use their extra ability bars and that sort of thing, drag them out and customize those. We've been adding even some features this week. So you can now scale your hero unit frame and your target unit frame. We'll be adding scaling to the party unit frames. I talked actually yesterday, I haven't actually told anyone this, but your interrupt target, we don't actually have a specific frame for that. Sure, it has a bar, it has its cast bar and all that sort of stuff. But, do we want to add a way for that to have a separate frame in the UI? Maybe. Maybe you can make that big. Maybe you could change its color, all of those sorts of things. So we're kind of going through the list and looking at all the things that we want to add. The number one thing on that list right now is buff tracking. So the next step for us is we want to get that in as fast as possible. So version 1 of that will be like a dev curated buff tracker, where so we can get it in really quick. We can say, we think that for this hero, it's really important to look at these things. So for Mako, for example, there's a couple of buffs you really want to have up. So it'll be those two and maybe her shields, and then we'll have this short list that we think's important, and then we'll apply those sorts of things for all heroes, and then we'll keep working on the feature, and the eventual goal is to release a buff tracking feature where people have individual customization that they can get into. So yeah, lots and lots to do here.
I love that. You don't have any space like, so other games have the ability for mods or for add-ons. We don't have that right now in Fellowship. How much more important does that make it that the team is giving the players everything they need in that UI?
Really important. I mean, and to be clear, we're not going to have add-ons for our game. We don't want that. We want everyone to be on the same level playing field. We want it to be very manageable and like accessible for everyone, and not like a add-on management thing that they have to worry about. It's really important to us. That's kind of the short answer. I think it also. I was talking about this the other day. I think one of the secondary benefits of it is that I mean, my eventual hope is that people get excited enough about the game that people want to broadcast it. And already we're seeing people, streaming the game a lot, which is great. But it has that benefit of you don't have a jarring experience because you understand the UI. If you played the game, you know what you're looking at, right? And it won't change that much between different people. Sure, people will customize their layouts and the way that they're leveraging what we're putting in front of them, but that ease of understanding from the community is something that I'm really excited about.
Honestly, even if you haven't played this game, the design itself is so intuitive and so familiar that even if you're brand new coming to Fellowship looking at this, right away you know what you're looking at. Like you could be a person who's never healed before and pick up Sylvia and heal easily through a bunch of dungeons. We just saw that.
I mean, I kind of lost my mind a little bit a couple of times, but we got there. We didn't wipe.
We didn't wipe.
So that works.
Yeah. Most people won't have to answer questions while they're doing it as well. So that's also a benefit. the added challenge. I dig it. So the classes are built in such a way that they have few talents, but it still feels complex. It still feels like there's a high skill ceiling with so few abilities to have mapped to keybinds. The game sort of seems like it's custom built for controller support. Is there any, can we expect to see some controller support in the future?
So interestingly, our community, I got a message from one of our community members saying, "Hey, look, I've already kind of been working on my own controller support. Can we create a Discord channel on the official channel that's, a community controller support channel?" I was like, "Yeah, let's do it." So that's already there. There are ways that people are figuring out to get controller support into the game with what we have already. But official controller support is absolutely something that we want to add. It's on the list. And like I said, we're a small team, so it's hard for us to divert that bandwidth away from our core features. But it's very, very high on the list. I think for me, so kind of sharing time, I was diagnosed with MS back in 2014. So before that, there was a few years there where controllers were the only way that I could enjoy games. My hands didn't really work properly for a couple of years. And that's kind of when I got into Dark Souls. And I think that is the way that a lot of people can enjoy games. And it might be the only way for a lot of people that people can enjoy playing games. And so for those people, I really want to make sure that we have that support. Then there's a bunch of people who just love playing on a controller. They want to sit on the couch. They want to play the game. They, want to just chill, and that's awesome. And then also it's, if we solve controller support, then it opens other doors, official Steam Deck support. Could we do that? I want to play Fellowship while I'm lying down in bed. That'd be sick.
Yeah.
And then, the dream for me would be, could we get this experience out to console players? That would be incredible. But yeah, gotta try and solve that.
I just got goosebumps. We're getting Fellowship on Xbox. You heard it here first.
Hey, stop!
A few down the road, maybe, potentially.
Yeah,
we would love to see that.
I would love that. Like, these are like the dreams, right? The more players who we can get in, the better. I think, like you kind of alluded to, we have a limited amount of skills in the game. It's not very limited. It's somewhere in between, MMOs that people are playing and MOBAs. I think it sits in a really, really good spot, and controller support is very solvable for our game, I think. But then you have that question of, you can technically do it already, but then there's that next step of, what additional kind of work do we need to do to make it work really well?
Right.
Do we need to have certain different schemes for people on controllers? Do some skills work differently on a controller than they work on a mouse and keyboard? We'll kind of have to get into those details, because those aren't things that the community can do. But, if there's things that we can do to make controller support better, we could do that on our side. So we will see.
That. I'm excited. I can't wait. I also want to play Fellowship in bed. That sounds lovely.
Oh my god. Right? Just go full degen and never get out of
Yeah,
bed.
make a little nest out of pillows and
Yes.
blankets. Have a
Oh,
nice
the
Bengal
dream.
spiced tea. Oh yeah, I'm doing it. I'm gonna. I can't wait. I can't wait. Seasonal games typically have like an ebb and flow. They see their player base come when a new season comes out, and then it dies off a bit. After some time has passed. Is it the goal? Like, does the team recognize that, and you're like planning? Okay, we know we're expecting to see this, or do you have like some way to break the mold and keep people forever in between seasons?
Well, that's something that we're talking about now. Is what does our season structure look like? We've talked very openly. Like our game will be based around seasons. We've got leaderboards. We will be doing resets of some kind for people, so they have a fresh experience when they jump back in. There will be things that absolutely carry over on your heroes in your account, but we need to kind of nail down what's the best situation that keeps people engaged enough that they want to come back to get new stuff, new cosmetics, new achievements and titles, while not kind of alienating them and saying like, we're nuking everything, right? So that's going to be a balance for us. We need to kind of see how that goes. But we will, I think now that we are over the super intense part of getting our servers running as well as we need to, we'll be having more of those discussions in the coming weeks.
Love that. I'm looking forward to it. I'm really excited about this game. I'm a giant mark, and I love the art style, and I love these character designs. Will I be spending money on skins at any point? I will spend it if you...
Yeah, so on the monetization front, so our game is a single upfront cost. If you only ever want to buy the game and play it forever, you can do that. That's the important thing. We do already have a few supporters packs on Steam for people who want some cosmetic things. I was actually wearing some in the dungeon just now. But those are entirely optional. They don't give any player power. They're just there if people want to look pretty. And I do, so that's nice for me. We do have more plans for like an in-game like cosmetics monetization workflow. So there'll be skins. That's the long and short of it. There's never going to be any player power. We're not locking heroes behind paywalls. We don't want to split the community in any way. So yeah, it's vanity only. That's the long and short of it. And also, I don't like when devs say time savers aren't like they try and get away with that. I've seen that a lot. I don't like those either. So just vanity.
I love it. I'm not kidding. I am a whale. I dropped a lot of money to get the
All right, so while you're here, pitch it to me. What hero are you playing most?
Helena. And here's the thing. I'm playing Helena.
Okay.
The supporter pack skin for Helena is gorgeous, but just her base skin. Like yeah, but it's Helena. Helena's I'm a tank main. Sword and board is my jam. I'm ready to follow Helena into battle. So yeah.
Okay, so if I could have the team put together like your ideal cosmetic outfit for Helena, what does it look like?
Oh my goodness. I really like the heavy armor look, but if you could put her in like a 300, the movie 300, like a Spartan style kind of shield, and yeah.
Did you see so we actually had like a Centurion kind of vibe for Helena like a few months ago.
I did see that.
That got taken away because we wanted to kind of redo that one, but that would be the closest thing that we have. But a Spartan Helena would go pretty hard.
It's an instant buy for me. It's a day one purchase.
Okay, all right. Yeah. We've at least got one sale, so I will. I'll let the team know.
Yeah, let them know. There's one. You could put it on like a scale. Like, okay, however many sales of it we get is how much we have to charge Sean for it. So if we only get one, I just got to pay for the development of the skin.
All right, I'll tell you how much the overall cost is, and if you can fund it, then as long as we get one sale, we've broke even. So that's happy.
Perfect.
I'm happy about that.
Perfect. I love it. Thank you. Everybody who hates in-game shops now wishes I wasn't doing this interview. Sorry, folks. It's gonna be great.
No, I totally understand that people have like feelings about that sort of thing. But yeah, I just want to like restate vanity only.
Yeah.
You absolutely don't need it.
I love that.
It's just opt in. It's honestly a great way to support us being able to create more of what people enjoy. So, if people are into the monetization, that's great. And then, it'll mean that we can produce more heroes, more dungeons in the core of our game.
I love that. Chief Rebel is the hero we need.
I mean, that's the hope.
Well, so far you're batting 1,000. Hamish, I want to this is a tough question. This is the tough one here. We're not in a dungeon, so you can focus. What are some of the challenges that you have faced during early access?
Oh, I mean, no, that's obvious. I mean, people have seen some of the stuff that we've had going on with our servers, and it's universal, right? I've been doing this long enough that you have to grow to expect it, which sucks. I mean, I think from the player perspective, there's this understandable sentiment like, why can devs not, like, we've been doing this so long, this online gaming thing. Why can't devs figure out how to do a launch that just works? I think that's totally fair, but when you kind of look behind the curtain, there's just so much complexity. It's actually astounding. Like it's crazy. I mean, like I said, I've been doing this a long time. I worked on Division 2, Division 1, going back Diablo 3. I was there for that launch. Worked on that one. People remember that. So we're a small team. We have the same problems as the giants. It's not easy to get right. So server stability, we had some very specific service-related issues that were kind of hamstringing us and making it very, very difficult for us to increase the cap beyond a certain point. And now we're in a really good spot, actually. Over the past 48 hours, we haven't actually reached our new cap, not because we have less players, but because we were able to increase the cap. So the queues that we had to impose on people are gone. I would hope that over time we hit those caps again because they're a lot higher, but we'll have to see how we go with that. And then, scaling is something that we are in a much better place with. So server stability, like most people, is been the biggest challenge. And like I alluded to a bit before, now we're kind of seeing what the community pain points are, and we can kind of see, balance-wise, what are some of the things that we want to do? I mean, already, like you said, you're playing Helena, you have gotten buffs already. Mm-hmm. So I think getting those out within the first week is something that the team should be really proud of. But those are the big problems that we've had so far.
I love it.
Understandable ones, I'd say.
Definitely understandable. Yeah, it's I've never developed a game, but I have no problem saying how easy it should be to launch one.
No. So one of the things that I really want to do, and this is what I love doing, and I love being part of a small team. And actually, we have like a really great collaboration with our publisher, and they've been really supportive of how transparent we want to be. Just being able to jump on stream and it not be a huge thing and just talk openly with our community is something that I really love. But I was talking the other day about doing like a post-mortem podcast with some of our server engineers and just saying like, hey, look, this is what happened. These are all the moving parts that you never get to see of a game launch. What does that look like? What are those problems? What are some of the ones that are, really very, very difficult? What are the ones that are trivial that you wish you'd caught? What are some of all of the truth about a game launch? I'm really looking forward to kind of educating people on that.
I love that idea.
My favorite tooltip in the game, I don't know if you've seen this. Have you seen the Vigor tooltip for his stun?
No.
Throw a book. So there's a throw a book skill, and in the tooltip it says educate a target. I want to educate a target by throwing books at them with that podcast. So throw books at people to educate them is apparently what we've learned.
I love it. I'm here. I can't wait for that podcast. That's going to be amazing. Every game in the history of games should be telling their fan base to tune into that podcast.
Yeah, we'll get there. Give us a few weeks, and that'll be something that people can expect.
I love it. And the community, so you had the server issues, but the community even came up with like workarounds on their own. like the second day, and people were like, queue into the Asian servers and have a friend on NA invite you to a group, and it pulls you into the NA servers. So just bypassing, probably contributing to the problem, maybe, but the community was, was very creative in it.
Yeah, they are great.
Hamish, we're coming up. We're pushing an hour here, and I know you're very busy. You have a lot to do. So I'm going to end this by just asking you: is there anything you want to tell us, or anything you want to say about Fellowship, or about those 15 guitars behind you, or that Grogu doll?
You noticed the yeah. No, so yeah, we talked about a bard hero in the future. I'm obviously very biased. No, I would just kind of say we're just excited to offer something to people that is fresh. It's vital. I would say, like we're right in the middle of developing stuff, so people can have a huge impact on what we're doing, and they are. It's a really exciting time for us as developers. I think it's an exciting time to be a part of this community because they'll see their impact on the game. We are making a game that is available to anyone. I think I mean that in a lot of different ways. We want to create a really welcoming experience who want to just, maybe people will just jump into quick play for their whole life. They'll never jump into challenge, and that is cool. They'll have a great time. They'll have some things that they can unlock and just play dungeons with friends. And if you want to go full sweat and climb the leaderboards, you can do that. We actually just had our trims granted to people yesterday. So people who reached the top 0.1% got the unique platinum trims. And yeah, we're making something that is hopefully appealing to all parts of that spectrum.
I love that. What's the best way for players and fans to give feedback and to get involved?
Yeah, so our Discord's a really great place for that. So discord.gg/playfellowship, I think, or just Fellowship. But if you go to playfellowship.com, there's links and everything there. Actually, yeah, thanks. One of our mods posted it in Twitch chat. It is discord.gg/playfellowship, and you can join our Discord there. It's really kind of exploded. I think we're just moments away from hitting 100K over there. So very, lots of discussions. And they are very, very helpful. There's also an in-game feedback tool, but yeah, just kind of letting us know. And also I've been doing a lot of streams, so if people come by our stream as well, I love hearing from people directly because it gives me a chance to ask them follow-up questions and just chat about games because that's fun.
I love it. Where can people find you if they want to follow Hamish?
Oh, yeah, I mean, if you're into weird cursed content, my Twitter is just /HamishBode, just my name. Super creative over there.
It's a good spot. I definitely recommend checking it out. Hamish, I want to just say thank you so much for taking time today to talk to us about Fellowship. It was a real pleasure for me.
Anytime. Hopefully we can do it again.
Yeah, I would like that a lot. And for the listeners, thank you for spending your time with us. This has been Weekly No Leaver. We don't have a Mythic Plus replay for this from the RaiderIO website, but Fellowship is an amazing game. Jump in, hit the quick play, hit the Contender League. Let us know what you think. Tweet about it, and let Fellowship know. Let Hamish know what skins you want to see for Helena. And help me pay for the Spartan one. Until next time, in a world where you can be anything, be kind.